Good morning, everybody. Everything new under the sun. I apologize. I haven't got a video up in the last couple days. Been very busy with things getting ready, getting the homestead prepared, working on the solar system, and that kind of falls into and relates to what we're going to talk about this morning. And it relates to energy of all kinds. Now, a lot of people heat their homes with oil. Probably most people do. There is a move to electricity, heat pumps, that sort of thing, especially in Canada where the winters are cold and long, multiple months long. You need to heat your house, and it's got to be consistent. You need to have a supply of it, and you need to be able to afford it, obviously. And as fuel prices are going up, so is fuel, our home oil, furnace oil. It is increasing just like gasoline, just like diesel. And the price per kilowatt of electricity has not really gone up yet. But as heating oil increases and stays high, and it will get even higher in the fall period when everybody starts trying to heat their homes, they're going to quickly think about getting a heat pump, and many are. I've heard recently that the lineup for installs, the queue for installs of heat pumps, etc., is very high as people are trying to move there to get to electricity because it's cheaper. So this is the price of worldwide electricity per kilowatt hour. So this is cents per kilowatt hour. The red line there is Australia, but if you looked way down at the bottom, and this image is small, but second from the bottom is Canada at 8.49 US cents per kilowatt hour. And then right above that is the US, a little bit more expensive, 12.50 US cents per kilowatt hour. They're at the bottom of the price list for electricity. That means electricity is very, very cheap. Norway is only 8.47. I think in large part because Norway is geothermal energy by the volcanic activity and such. They create a lot of their electricity via that method. But if you go up, right at the top is Germany, where it costs 37 cents US cents per kilowatt hour. That's expensive. That's literally 4 times as much as Canada or the US. So think of your electricity bill times 4, and that's what they would be paying in Germany if you were using the same amount. And that's why they're going big on solar and renewable energy. Portugal second, Poland, Slovak Republic, Spain going down from the top, and prices are very expensive. And these aren't even adjusted yet. In fact, current energy prices have not really been adjusted to match any parity or sort of ratio with gasoline and diesel. And generally, I think because it's seen as a temporary spike in oil value, and so the electricity companies haven't increased rates. But wait for them to do so. When everybody moves over to heat pumps, they're going to have to. They only have so much capacity, so much electricity capacity, that they're going to have to increase rates again to limit the demand, because you have a supply and demand issue. You only have so much supply. You need to squelch the demand a little bit. You do that by increasing prices. People are less likely to use more electricity, so you really limit the demand as a power company if you only have a set amount of electricity supply to provide. So let's look at the issue here. The bigger issue, of course, is 8 weeks left of potential diesel, and specifically the DEF, um, the the emissions liquid that diesel engines use. Let's go over here. This is the economiccollapseblog.com. A warning about coming shortage of diesel fuel, diesel exhaust fluid, and diesel engine oil. Now, what we're going to be talking about is diesel exhaust fluid, which the big diesel trucks require for emissions. We are being warned that there will be shortages of diesel fuel, diesel exhaust fluid, and diesel engine oil. Most diesel vehicles require all three in order to run, and so a serious shortage of any of them would be a major disaster. Needless to say, The simultaneous shortages of all three could be catastrophic. Most Americans don't spend much time thinking about diesel. Again, you and I, we run gasoline in our vehicles, so diesel doesn't make a big difference, and there's lots of gasoline to go around. But the thing is, of course, uh, everything that gets shipped is using diesel. Even ships that ship products, literal ships use a diesel in their engines. So when the price doubles, triples, and diesel and the supply chain, the supply of this stuff is limited, the price of any of your products is going to go up significantly. Most Americans don't spend much time, but without it, our supply chains collapse. We don't have a functioning economy. Cheap diesel is really what helps this supply chain to move along and what helps us live relatively cheaply compared to many in the rest of the world. Though most consumers shake their heads at the cost of gasoline, by the way, this doubles the price of shipping effectively from China. Most consumers shake their heads at the cost of gasoline and complain about filling up their tanks. By the way, it cost me about $140 to fill up my tank, 65-liter tank. I run a Honda, and it's an old 2004 Honda. It's got a V6, 3.5-liter V6, and the 65-liter tank it used to cost about $65, $1 per liter in Canada, but now it's basically twice that. The U.S. economy runs on diesel. It's what powers container ships that bring goods from Asia. So if we're shipping anything from China, the price of shipping effectively is doubling, and the price that they are charging is catching up quickly to the price of diesel. The farmers who grow food you eat put diesel in their tractors. This means many are considering whether or not they have the money and are going to make enough profit off the crops in their fields to pay for all the diesel that they're using, which is effectively double. They're basically paying double at this point in terms of inflation across the board to get these tractors out in the fields and working. The workers bring construction equipment to build your home. They put diesel in their trucks. All the big trucks, everything moves by diesel, even rail trains. There's a comment here about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka said that it will not be possible to operate trains in the future due to lack of engine oil. A senior official at Sri Lanka Railways said that the current level of engine oil would only last for another 2 months. That's in line with the warning we're hearing about the States. About 8 weeks of diesel engine oil remaining in the pipeline. So, and there's not enough refineries. It goes on and says supplies have gotten tighter. The average price of diesel fuel hit $5.50. One of the biggest reasons is the lack of refining capacity. In 1980, there was twice as many refineries in the U.S. Of course, the push by U.S. presidents and Congress and these things to go green energy and to put more checks and balances and restrictions on quote-unquote dirty fuel, these oil refinery companies, they're discouraging any creation of refineries. They're discouraging. Even Biden canceled the pipeline from the from Canada to the U.S. for Canadian oil sands production. They canceled that in the name of global warming, climate change, etc., whatever you want. But what it means is that North America, which could be a net exporter of energy, is not, and we're in a serious crunch now because these greenhouse affecting and emitting energy supplies are being shut down by the government effectively. The government has been causing all the problems in the world to date since COVID. They caused a lockdown. It crushed the economy. They're causing the inflation by the money printing. They're causing the energy supply constraints and problems because of their want to go to green energy, even though fuel prices are at the highest they've been, in 40 years or something. So this is a problem. The governments are causing all this, and the governments will continue to cause this because the citizens aren't voting and standing up and doing something about this. Again, it's in the name of climate change and global warming and all this kind of stuff. It goes on here. Fewer refineries, crude oil and diesel and other products. In the U.S., then there were just a few years ago, there were also 20. There are just 124 refineries operating now, down from twice as many in 1980. There have already been some temporary outages of diesel at a few locations, but we aren't running out of diesel fuel, and this is the key to note. The crisis is diesel exhaust fluid, which these big trucks require. Now, your car doesn't require this that I know of, diesel cars, but again, these big trucks require them. The U.S. could experience a shortage of diesel exhaust fluid, impacting U.S. drivers already hit with soaring fuel prices. DEF is a solution made up of urea and deionized water that is needed for almost everything that runs on diesel. It reduces harmful gases being released into the atmosphere and works by converting nitrogen oxide produced by diesel engines into nitrogen and steam. It says a diesel engine can technically run without DEF, but your diesel vehicle likely won't start if the DEF tank is empty. So they have all the new trucks are computer controlled. If there is something wrong, they will stop they won't let the engine run. And likewise, the computers are going to tell these big trucks to shut down if the DEF tank is empty. Now, it could run by that, but the computer is going to say otherwise. It's going to say, no, we're not going to allow this truck to start because this fluid is empty, and we've been programmed, the computers have been programmed to stop them, basically. And I talked about Sri Lanka. So this is a big deal as everyone moves to away from gas to electricity. Your electricity is going to spike. So everything you run in your house with electricity, think about your electricity bill doubling, and I suspect it will do so this fall as energy companies, electricity companies, look to recoup and come to some sort of par or ratio of value with other energy out there, because everybody's going to be piling into electricity as we head towards fall period. So be prepared, folks. This is a time to think about all your energy consumption, to recognize that electricity is going to increase per kilowatt hour significantly. And the governments love this because it pushes us all towards, well, I don't know what. It puts all the citizens of the world into a hard situation, and they like it because it pushes people to renewable energies, but it's hard. It's very expensive. Most of us can't afford renewable energy on the scale that is needed to replace all these things, and renewable energy isn't reliable yet anyways 24 hours a day. Wind energy, solar, solar is only available 6 hours a day in most places. A little more if you're living in the south, less if you're living farther north. But these things aren't ready for prime time, and we still need oil. But they're putting the pinch on us. The government actions are doing this, and the government will not stop. There will be world government the Bible speaks about. This is a chart of gas prices all the way back to 2006. You can see that it goes up in 2008, the last crisis, and then in 2012 it spiked, and then it was down for a while, and then we're up here again. And I think this is going to continue to go up as Russia stays in Ukraine and even looks to take out some other countries. Look at the situation in Kaliningrad now. Lithuania cut off train travel to Kaliningrad through their land, through their borders, and Russia could be looking at that and be looking to do something in Lithuania in response to that now. Big issues are happening. The price of oil is not going down. The price of electricity is going to rise significantly as the electricity companies, again, realize that, we need to increase our prices. People are piling into electricity. Everybody's moving there, and with furnace oil increasing and already very expensive for this winter, look for your energy bills this winter to double. If you're running heating oil, they're going to be double. Are you prepared for that? Have you saved up for that? If you're moving to electric, are you prepared to pay more than you expected for electricity? They're not going to stay as cheap as they are right now. So be prepared. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll leave it there. Get ready. That's what I'm trying to do. Get ready. Look at what's ahead. Recognize what's coming. And get your house, your family, your finances prepared for the real struggle that is to come, put upon us by the government. And the government will continue to put these struggles and pressure on us in the name of climate change and blaming Putin for everything effectively. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you in the next video.